Imagine having a framework to crush fear on command and gain unshakable confidence. This is something that took me years to learn, and it's from a variety of experiences that I was able to build my confidence up. And I'm going to share the steps I took. Fear stems from a biological response where we trigger the fight or flight system in our body, and our body pumps us full of adrenaline. We don't get a lot of situations that trigger that nowadays. We're not having to worry about a lion jumping out and eating us in the middle of the night, or at least most of us. But our body doesn't know the difference between what's a real threat and what isn't. So any perceived threat will release that adrenaline. And for a lot of people, that's going to be public speaking. That's something that causes a lot of anxiety because it's not a situation that they're put into on a regular basis. One of the main things you need to learn when it comes to growing and becoming better is that you need to get out of your comfort zone. When you get out of your comfort zone, it's obviously uncomfortable. I learned this when a friend of mine was going over pickup. Pickup used to be really big in the early 2000s. And one of the key takeaways from pickup artists is that 3-second rule. And the idea is that if you take more than 3 seconds to approach a woman, then you're going to talk yourself out of it because you're going to be nervous and scared. So the thing that they teach is to just approach her and then worry about the rest afterwards. With that being said, I've applied this many times in my life. Whenever I was a magician and I wanted to show magic tricks, I would just walk up to people and like, hey, can I show you something real quick? And yeah, it's nerve-wracking. My hands would sit there and shake. It took a long time for me to build the self-confidence to be able to put myself out there. Besides approaching for magic, I would use it in sales. A couple of my friends and I, when we lived in Houston, would go to the mall, and we wanted to get better at sales. So we would go there and we're like, hey, we're going to be here 3 hours and see who can get the most numbers. It didn't have to be a phone number from a woman or a business contact, just phone numbers in general. The idea was just get ourselves out there, get used to talking to people that we didn't know. And so, yeah, I would have to walk up to people and just immediately start a conversation, build rapport enough to the point that they were willing to share their phone number with me. But the challenge was to get ourselves out there. And even when I managed, I would use this. I remember I was working in Austin and I had an employee come into the kitchen where I was at, and he's like, hey, there's a naked dude outside running and chasing people around the parking lot. I had no idea what I was gonna do, but you know what I did? I got up and immediately started hauling ass towards the front to go handle the situation. I don't know what I'm gonna do if this guy chases me. I don't know what I'm gonna do if he chases somebody else, but I wasn't gonna give myself time to talk myself out of it. You know, so I applied that 3-minute rule and I ran up there. So use that 3-minute rule to overcome any situations that's causing you anxiety before you even get to the point where you can talk yourself out of it. Another thing that I've used to not only build my own confidence, but build the confidence of people that wanted to learn magic from me is put yourself in uncomfortable situations. When I was coming up in high school, I wanted to get more confident and more comfortable with the awkwardness. And so I would go up, and I don't know if, you know, how your guys' school was, but mine, all the tables were segregated essentially. You each had your own clique at the tables. You didn't sit with people you didn't know. I just would sit down wherever I wanted. I would go and pick a random table, and I would just hop a squat right there in front of them. I wouldn't even say anything. I wouldn't introduce myself. I would just sit there. I would just mess with my cards. I'd eat my food, you know, make it as awkward as possible. And I learned to embrace the awkward. And when I taught magic, that was the same thing that I would teach people is, hey, go up there, like make it as awkward as possible, because I promise you nothing else that you're gonna do is gonna be more awkward than that. So if you realize that you're not gonna die or get hurt from that, like you're gonna be okay. So embrace the awkward, embrace the uncomfortable, seek it out, and you're gonna have a lot more confidence when you are on your own. Real quick, if you're finding value in this content, make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. And if you want to support the channel, I'll have some affiliate links down below. It doesn't cost you anything extra. If you're already interested in buying it, pick it up on Amazon, and I'll get a little kickback that helps me keep making content like this. And I guess the final thing I want to touch on is the winning loop. And the idea behind that is that if you accomplish something, right, it's gonna be easier to accomplish again and again and again. Anything down the road, the more wins you get under your belt, the more you win. I forgot where the study was done, but they did a study, a couple scientists, where they took a small rat and put it up against a smaller rat, and they had him fight. And they did this over and over again. He kept winning. Then they took that rat and they put him up against a bigger rat. He ended up winning again and again and again. And the idea is that because he got those wins, initial wins under his belt, it was a lot easier to win against bigger odds. So you can use this to your advantage by collecting small wins throughout the day. Maybe you want to go and talk to somebody that you think's attractive, right? Or you want to go ask your boss for a pay raise. Those are big steps, right? Those are nerve-wracking. Go get some small wins under your belt. Go get some guaranteed wins. Boost your confidence that way. And when it comes into those challenges and those situations, when you put into them, you're gonna go, easy, I got this. A pro, and you're not going to stress yourself out as much. The tips in this video are great, but you will never have that unshakable confidence unless you feel comfortable in your own skin. So click the video right here so I can show you how I overcame imposter syndrome.